Good morning, people. Welcome to Football with Brownie. I hope you're all well, keeping safe, keeping each other safe, and spreading the love during this pandemic. Because we all need a little bit of loving. Well, I certainly do anyway. It's bloody cold in bed of my own. Anyway, another thing. That's another thing. Before we go any further, let's like, share, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Remember, subscription is free, and the channel can't progress without your help. So make it happen, guys. Also, we've teamed up with Alan and the guys at Away Day Pro. Help you get ready with new clobber when the crowds finally get back to football. And boy, am I looking forward to that. Just type in Football with Brownie in the promo code, get you a 10% off. All the details will be in the description below after the video. Welcome to a Cardiff City show and a fantastic guest, which is Dan from GTFM. How are you, Dan? Hope you're well.
Not bad, mate.
Yeah, I see you wearing the Everton shirt today for the Merseyside derby.
I am. My wife's family are all from Liverpool, and they're all massive Reds.
Okay.
So I think last time we were up there, we did the tours of both stadiums, and they were insistent we had to pick a team. So my 8-year-old, who is the ultimate wind-up merchant, decided if everybody supports the Reds, he's going to support the Blues. So I'd go with him.
No worries. I can't tell you the last time I went up there. I tell you a story now. I had a couple of tickets for Merseyside derby, and it was like on a Monday night or something. I think it was like a Monday night or whatever it was. And I was working nights in factory in Merthyr, which shows how long ago this was. And I phoned in sick. I didn't have no sick days left, so I phoned in sick. Unbeknown to me then, we sat right in the front of a cop. That's where the tickets were. And next door to me were four guys dressed up as Teletubbies, with a camera fucking zoomed in on them, didn't it? I know who was caught out bloody, at the football. Oh, I come in. I had a warning for it. Anyway, that's another story. Back to the Bluebirds. And another 2 wins since we last spoke from Mick McCarthy and the boys.
Yeah, I think signs of improvement again, continuing. Against Coventry, they did start to look a bit tired towards the end when they conceded a goal. And the Luton game was it was odd, really. I think they started off the better team for the first 10, 15 minutes, and then everything kind of went backwards. Again, I think not having changed the team for a few weeks, they looked a little bit tired on the back foot. But there was, 15, 20 minutes at the start of the second half where we just absolutely took over.
Well, what we'll do, because we'll start with the Coventry game, Dan, because you know about my streaming issues with the Luton game, so you can absolutely take over that part of the conversation before my rant on that. But we'll start with the Coventry game, and it was 3-1 in the end. It was slightly disappointing that they didn't keep a clean sheet in the end. But I tell you what, that Phillips in goal is really taking his opportunity, grabbing his opportunity with both hands, isn't he? And can you see a way back for Smithies?
I think at the moment, I would like to see Phillips stay. He's not put a foot wrong. He's been fantastic. And I mean, we were going through a bad run, but we conceded quite a few goals where Alex Smithies was probably, you never like blaming a goalie, but was probably at fault. He wasn't exactly on top form. Phillips has come in and been fantastic. So at the moment, I'd like to see him stay. I mean, I think you will see Alex Smithies come back in eventually. I don't think he's going to sit on the bench for the rest of the season. But for the time being, I think Phillips is probably still the number one at the moment.
You are right regarding the come to an end of that game as well. Is that I think everyone could see all the players tiring really. It's definitely a sign of lack of strength and depth, and as we're coming in now, we know where we are. It's unbelievable. We're in seventh, at one place. But as we're coming in, it is a slight worry now, isn't it, Dan? But we may not have enough tools in a box to really kick on throughout this. What's going to be a real busy business end to the season.
Yeah, I think we seem to have a knack for picking up knocks at the wrong time as well. I don't think Kiefer's going to play today, or not a full 90 minutes if he does, which was probably all our biggest fear.
Yeah.
I know Hoylett's still struggling. He's still out. Ossie Tutu's done his hamstring twice in the space of 6 months. It is a worry. It's nice to see the young kids on the bench. I would like to see him use them more, but at the same time, are they going to be enough for a playoff push when we really get towards the business end? Probably not. So yeah, it is a big concern.
I mean, we all know about Waters, and it was a shame that he got his injury when he did. But he's not a like for like replacement for Mo, is he?
No.
So you're wondering, well, surely it must have been maybe just a free agent out there, because at the moment in time, because needs must, they running Mo into the ground.
Yeah, I think I really like Waters. From what I've seen of him, I think he had 60 minutes on his debut. He came on towards the end of the Luton game for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
He looks so positive. He's quick. He makes darting runs in and out of the box. But what concerns me is, much like with Glatzel, we don't play to his strengths.
Yeah.
So as much as I really like him, I think he looks like a fantastic player. But because we don't play to his strengths, I think if we're ever in a situation where we're going to need him to play, we're going to struggle again, because he's not going to hold the ball up. He's not going to bring it down on his head like Kiefer does and hold off the back foot on his own until support arrives.
Yeah.
So it is a big concern. I really like him. He looks fantastic, but I don't think he's going to fit in with the way we play at the moment.
Yeah, it's the lack of holding a ball I was trying to get at, really, because lower down the leagues, I'm not. I didn't watch Crawley week in, week out, but lower down the leagues, the typical thing is that it would go back to the old 4-4-2 basically. So you would have some kind of partner, whether it's like dropping slightly behind, but he would have some kind of partner to play up there with him, and we don't tend to do that with Mo. So I don't know. On a plus side, it's an opportunity for the youngsters to come in, and I've seen that Isaac Davis and a couple of the others got offered new contracts as well. Since we last time we spoke.
Yeah, they've been given new contracts. I think Colwell made his debut for all of about 35 seconds at the end of the game. But it is nice to see him coming through. I think it's been a long time coming. Cardiff City have got a massive academy, a huge setup, and it's amazing, really, that it's taken this long to start bringing people through.
I know.
It's not really a case of they're not producing players, because when you look around at the amount of kids that have left that academy and gone on to Premiership clubs, been snapped up by Man City's, Crystal Palace's, they're obviously producing decent young players, and it's about time that we started bringing them into our team rather than letting them go elsewhere.
I can see both sides to it, really, Dan, if I'm honest with you. Whereas before, not just Cardiff, but through my friends who support like Arsenal or Liverpool or whatever, It's different. Whereas before, supporters nowadays, they had more patience in the past. You know, if a team went on a losing streak of 3 or 4, they'd have more patience. So the manager would be able to have more time on his hands to bring the youngsters into the first team. Whereas now everything is so, you know, if he loses 2 games, oh, he's not right. Blah, blah, blah. You know, the pressure on managers now are so immense. But that's probably the main reason why they're a bit nervous in bringing the youngsters through. Would you agree with that? Or
Yeah, I think we live in a world now where we're used to having everything at the touch of our fingers on the internet. We get what we want when we want it without too much effort. And I think when it comes to football, we expect to win week in, week out, however unrealistic that is. You know, when you buy a season ticket, you know you're not going to watch them win every single game they ever play, but you still expect it. And when things start going wrong, you're right, a manager reverts to experience. It's a big risk to throw in an 18-year-old kid who's untested and unproven. And when your job's on the line, you know, it's the same in everyday life, wherever you work. If you've got to rely on somebody that's got 20 years of experience or 2 days of experience, you're always going to go towards the bloke who's been there longer. So you can understand it. But I think we've failed as in, we've never even brought them in to sit on a bench. We've not had them involved around that first team. They just sort of sit in the academy and then they go on elsewhere. So it's nice to see we're kind of progressing in the right way at the moment for a change.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Cardiff's golden generation, where you had Ramsey, Ledley, Gunter, you know, they all basically come through under Dave Jones when we weren't going nowhere. We're mid-table in a championship. We weren't going anywhere, so you had time then to bring them through, I suppose. And then obviously the FA Cup happened when it did. But okay, going on to the Luton game. But before we do, let's just jump in the chat for a minute, Dan. Richard, how are you, my friend? Bring some decent weather with you. Well, it's about 16, I reckon, today. And to be honest, that's fucking cold for me, mate. Anything under 20, bro, I'm telling you. I'm freezing my nutsack off, I tell you. Gravy on the cornflakes. I haven't had no cornflakes today, but I'm going to have a lot of gravy this afternoon, especially if we win. James, how are you, my friend? Morning, Brownie. Let's keep your undefeated record going. That's all positive. Keep a faith and up the city. And that's another thing as well, Dan. It's regarding the positivity Mick McCarthy has brought to not just the fans, but if stories are to be true, it's players as well, because a few stories have come out regarding what happened at the first training session.
I think he's your typical warm northerner, and he's a great man manager, which I don't think we had with Neil Harris, as much as he liked to say that it was a fantastic group and he loved them. I don't think that was his way. And I think that's all he's done, really. I mean, he's changed to 5 at the back. He's playing people in the positions they should be playing in. But I think it's all down to the way he's dealing with players and the way he's treated them. You look at Harry Wilson, when he came in, he left him out. Yeah, we were all up in arms. What's he doing? And he's got exactly the reaction he was looking for. Same with Josh Murphy. You know, Josh Murphy came out and said, he sat him down, explained to him why he wasn't playing. And then look at the performances we've got over the last couple of weeks out of him.
I something told me Josh Murphy was going to kick on under McCarthy. I think it may have been in one of the chats in one of the watch-alongs I done, either for the Barnsley or what was the other team we drew against now? It was Barnsley and I can't remember. Because we drew the first 2 games with under McCarthy, and someone said about Josh Murphy, and McCarthy does seemed to his man management has always been well thought of, really. I remember when I wasn't happy with the appointment, Kavanagh was basically telling me about his man management when he was with Ireland. And then I was going through the old kind of on YouTube, the players giving their kind of their view on, or the Irish players giving their view on the McCarthy, Roy Keane type of thing, and his man management, McCarthy's man management, was always there to be mentioned. And something told me about Murphy, and I thought, well, this is his chance now. If he doesn't grab it but with both hands, then his career could really go downhill quite rapidly, let's be honest. And fair play to him. Absolutely fair play to him. And Flint as well, he's another one. Dan, I know that he's still probably not on the Christmas card list, but he's another one that's taken his opportunity as well.
Yeah, I think the Luton game was the first time the defence actually looked like it worked. We looked solid. And Flint did his job.
Yeah, Millwall. Yeah, cheers, James.
I still think he's probably a little bit slow and towards the end of his time in a championship, but at the moment he's playing well. They looked a lot more organised against Luton because the last few weeks it's been sort of a bit chaotic when the ball comes into our box. But even that's starting to show signs of improvement now, which is nice. I think it'll take a little bit longer to convince me of it fully. Nice to see that heading in the same direction as the attack has over the last few weeks.
Yeah. Bit off topic, but Zach, well, I suppose it could be off topic, not, but he says on topic, what are your thoughts on Chelsea's loan strategy? Now, at first, a few years ago, I remember the press being very against Chelsea and the way they loan their players and so many players go. But it's basically like a production line, Dan, isn't it? As time has gone on, it's another revenue stream. If a guy doesn't make it, then sell him on. It'll cover the costs for that academy. Plus you get a nice profit. And I do wonder why Cardiff couldn't do it on that kind of grand scale, rather than allowing, releasing players, rather than, couldn't they sell them on to maybe League Two club? At least they get, I don't know, maybe 10, 20 grand for them. But at least they get something from them rather than just releasing.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference. I mean, if you watch the under 23s or under 20s games, it's obviously a very high standard of football, but it's not professional football. So loan players out en masse to clubs that are playing in professional leagues to a higher standard. I mean, it's genius, really. Do you want people sitting at a level where they're not getting what's necessary to progress to that next level, apart from the chosen one or two? Or do you send them out, like you say, worst comes to worst, you sell them on, those clubs take them or they go somewhere else?
Yeah.
Or bring them back, a more complete footballer that's got experience at that level, and you can put them into your first team. It's a fantastic way to do things, I think, personally.
Yeah.
Rather than sitting kids in the under 23s.
I know it. I think it's gone from a lot of criticism in the media, which it was, when you had the especially with young English players at Chelsea and they weren't going to lock in, and then Lampard come in. People can say what they say about Lampard, but because of the transfer ban, Chelsea and Lampard had no other option than to play the youngsters for a season. And a lot of them grabbed the opportunity, and it's gone from criticising that youth policy. Now to praising it, and they anyway, I say we are going off subject there. Big up to Alexander from Malaysia. I hope you're well, my friend. Now, Luton, right? Now, before we go into Luton, I want to rant with Cardiff City TV. Now, Dan, you've heard this already, but right, Cardiff City TV, they have 3 different subscriptions, which is pay each game. Yeah, they have a monthly one, so it's up to you every month whether you want to renew, right? And you have the season, right? Now with me, because of my other work activities and so on, I pay. Some months I would pay, and if I'm thinking, I don't know if I can. It may just be me throwing money away because I have to go away with work and so on. So it may be some months in which I can't, right? Now, I've realised now that if you pay monthly like that, potentially you are the only one who gets, I'm going to say it, who gets fucked over by Cardiff City TV. And the reason I say that, Dan, if a game is called off, as the Rotherham game in January, or if a game is, or just do the called off thing at the moment, the game will be rescheduled. You contact them, say, be rescheduled. But they don't give you a credit then. They don't give you an extra game credit. Because basically, if you're paying for 4 weeks and you're only getting 3 weeks of service, you're still owed a game. So they don't give you no credit. Or they just expect you to renew all the time, even though you're paying, And another thing as well is that because I'm outside of the UK, I don't take it on board. I don't think it's my responsibility to check up what's on the Sky fucking planner or Sky schedule every bastard midweek game, right? It'd be an arseache for me to figure out why can't they just send me an email, quick email, or not just me personally, but a broad email to all their customers, say, look, tonight's game is on Sky, so we won't be able to show it. There I was, 10 minutes before the game, right? And it said, it came up, I can't have it in the country. And I'm thinking, I paid my fucking subscription. And then all of a sudden, someone come in, because I was doing a watch along on this, someone came in the chat and said, it's on Sky. For fuck's sake. So I tried, first 40 minutes of the first half, I tried looking for, people were sending me links, and they were shocking links. In all fairness, thank you to the people who tried to help me, but I was basically relying on people in the comments to tell me what the hell was going on in the game. So that's my rant over, Dan. Come back on it if you want. If not, take it away regarding the Luton game.
It's TV rules, TV money rules and roost, isn't it, basically?
Fuck yeah, now. But it doesn't cost them much, so Dan, if they just send an email out to people and say, look, unfortunately, because of Sky's scheduling, we won't be able to cover it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like, it seems nuts that it's on Sky here, so you can't watch it in mainland Europe. It's, it just seems daft. But I think it's all TV contracts and TV money, and they're kind of beholden to the money they get from Sky, and they just have to go along with it. But customer service wise, it would be great if they let you know, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, go on, take it away. What happened in the Luton game?
Like I said earlier, first sort of 10-15 minutes, we were well on top. By far the better team started positively. It looked great. And then there was like this weird little interlude up until half time where we sort of, everything kind of just went a little bit backwards. We weren't really doing anything wrong, but we were sat back, soaking up pressure, much like we used to. I don't know whether, again, it was just tiredness. Obviously, a couple of weeks, same team starting, but we just sort of sat back. But then after the break for about 15, 20 minutes, we just kind of took over the game. Got 2 goals. Harry Wilson's goal was absolutely fantastic. Wonderful strike. And then Vokes got the second. But then we kind of slipped back a bit. Then we started to look tired like we did against Coventry. Luton did have chances. But like I said earlier, that back 5 looked a lot more solid. As much as they had chances, they didn't look like they were going to break us down. Everything looked organised and calm. There was no Flint jumping in people's way and knocking people over and all the rest of the stuff we've had for the past few weeks. It looked calm, organised, and it was really positive to see, because I think, like we said earlier, lack of strength in depth. There are going to be injuries. There are going to be times where we got to kind of batten down the hatches. And up until that Luton game, I was concerned whether we'd be able to do that. But it really showed that whatever Mick McCarthy is doing is starting to work. It was all controlled and wonderful, and it was an all-round good performance, really, in what could have been a very, very difficult away trip to Luton, playing at that horrendous little ground. But yeah, all-round positive. Another win up to 7th, which, considering we were talking about a relegation battle,
I know. I can't believe a turnaround. I really can't believe a turnaround, Dan. It's just, I don't know why we surprise every season. We say it. The championship is so close. We say it it was, well, I don't know, going back, 10 years ago or so. Coming into January, wasn't it? Roy Keane's Sunderland was in the relegation when he took over. And then he had the automatic by the end of the season. I'm in a way, I'm chuffed to bits. Obviously, I am chuffed to bits, but I can see the lack of strength and depth now. And now, whenever I've been watching a Premier League game, especially during January, you can tell that the condensed season is affecting them, because no matter who I was watching, throughout January, many of the games would the first half would just be passing them by, basically, saving up the energy, and then the second half, most teams will go toe-to-toe for the second half. Now, people are describing that as if that was Cardiff's tactic, maybe against Luton. The first half was, okay, let's just save our energy and we go for it in the second half. Would you agree? Would you agree with them or not?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, we almost went at them as if we were looking maybe to get an early goal. And then we kind of looked like we shut up shop a little bit and sat back. You could see towards the end of the Coventry game, players were tired. We're at a point now, COVID season, everything's shortened and truncated into the point where there's like 2 to 3 games a week. So yeah, I can see that. They did sit back. But I mean, I don't think they ever looked. There was a moment in the first half where Luton very, very nearly took the lead. But other than that, I don't think we ever really looked in any trouble. Which, as opposed to, we used to sit back under Harris and it was almost a case of you just waiting for it to break down. But it looked controlled. Everything looked fine. There were no issues. It was a bit odd to see. But I'm quite comfortable with them doing that. I mean, like you say, there's very little in the way of strength in depth. So if we do have to sit back occasionally and batten down the hatches and just take a breather, then that's fine. Because it certainly worked, because the first sort of 15, 20 minutes of the second half, we were absolutely dominant. So, yeah, it could be a bit of that. Maybe we're giving Mick McCarthy a little bit too much credit. It might have just been they were knackered, so they sat back automatically anyway. But yeah, it certainly worked, because that period after the break, they looked really refreshed and they were fantastic.
Yeah.
But then again, after they went 2-0 up, like I said, they sat back again. So maybe it is by design, kind of picking your moments to go forward and get the best of the opposition. But, well, long may it continue.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you mentioned that, they look knackered. And the first thing come to me was Neil Harris and his bloody used car salesman fucking post-match interviews. That's the first thing come to me, Dan. Brownie doesn't love Randy. Oh, of course I do, Randy. Jesus. Never responds to himself. Oh, piss off. Hey, come on now. And we got James losing 3 million a month is absolute bullshit. Yeah, James. When did we speak about that, Dan? We spoke about, maybe, was it on the first show? I think we ripped into it.
We did it when we did the card when they had the closed meeting.
That's right. James, check out our previous shows, and we went to town on that issue. Joseph coming back. Johnny Williams is supposed to be fit to make his debut. He says tomorrow, but game's today, isn't it?
Today, yeah.
But where's he going to play because we can't drop Wilson? What's latest with? Have you heard anything regarding Johnny Williams?
I haven't seen anything this morning. I know Mick McCarthy did a press conference yesterday, I think it was, and he said he's looking good, ready for the weekend. I don't think he'll start. I don't think he'll drop Wilson in favour of Williams. I think he'll be on the bench if he is included anyway. I think the way Harry Wilson's been playing, I don't think he's getting left out of that team unless he's injured or completely out on his feet. So no, I don't think he's gonna drop Wilson for Williams. I think it'll be a case of he sits on a bench and you probably bring him on a little bit later in the day.
Yeah. Because he's, in my opinion, McCarthy wouldn't. He's not the type of manager who would just leave the single centre. Single defensive midfielder on his own and play both Wilson and Williams. I don't think that, that's just McCarthy is the typical of building from the back, and I see absolutely no problem at all on that. I've always that's always been my mentality. You build from the back. So yeah, I can't ever see them playing at the same time, which is a shame, but needs must at the moment. I mean, Johnny Williams, when's the last time he played a game?
He's been, I think he was out for a while at Charlton, wasn't he, for a couple of months towards the end. And he's come in here and spent the last 2 weeks out as well. So I don't think he's in any position to be starting a game. I think the way we're playing at the moment as well, with either Murphy or Ojo or Wilson, they're almost playing behind Kiefer, but depending on what side the ball is on, one of them moves out wide. I can't see Johnny Williams busting down the wing like Wilson and Murphy or Ojo do. So I think if he comes in, there probably will be a change to the way we play. But I think at the moment it's working well, so I don't see him changing anytime soon.
And I tell you what, if Johnny Williams watches, I bet he doesn't have any problems with Cardiff City TV. I bet, eh? If he right. Okay, it's the Peter Ridsdale derby today. And for people who don't know, Peter Ridsdale, he's not the owner of Preston, but he's an advisor. And we all know what Pistol Pete's advice is like. Preston today, they've always been a tricky team.
Yeah, so I got a foot in both camps today. So my wife's cousin will possibly be playing for Preston.
Okay.
So Anthony Gordon, who plays for Everton, he's on loan at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I think they're going through a rough patch at the moment. They've only won 1 in 5, which has included losses to Sheffield Wednesday, Rotherham, teams down the bottom. I think it's very much like last season when we played them up there. I think we're catching them while they're on a bit of a downturn at the moment, which could be good for us. They've always been a difficult team to play against, I think, but I think maybe we're catching them just at the right time at the moment in a bad run of form while we're on the up. maybe a little bit different. Obviously, if Kiefer doesn't play today, that could make for a little bit of a challenging afternoon. But it'd be nice to see if maybe if he doesn't play and Waters starts, if we change the way we do things a little bit under McCarthy. I think under Harris, the main problem was, regardless of the personnel, there was only one way to do things. I think Mick's shown already that he's got different ideas and different ways of, he's changed the formation and things since he's come in. So, it could be a positive, and it could be that we show a different way of playing. But it's going to be interesting to see.
I remember the only time I know we were playing home, but I'd never forget. We needed a win, I think, on last game of the season, maybe. It was to get again to playoffs. So we go up there and we lose 6-1. I think Parkin scored a bloody hat-trick against us following season. That Parkin signed for us. And he was dog shit. But typical Cardiff, isn't it? Typical Cardiff. So just we'll talk a little bit about Bournemouth, which is the game on Wednesday. Now, they're managerless at the moment, and rumours are regarding Thierry Henry going there.
Yeah.
Well, what's your opinion on that? Because, as you know, most of my YouTube friends, from like Arsenal channels, they all go berserk about the possibility of Henry coming back. But in my opinion, I think it would be good for Cardiff, because it's obviously a PR. In my opinion, it's a PR exercise. He's done nothing. Monaco all blew up in his face. Montreal, I checked it the other day, I think it was 10th in the Eastern Division, which consists of about 14, 15 teams. And it's like, he hasn't got a transfer window to play with. Could it all actually benefit Cardiff?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. That's a PR signing. That can't be a football decision. I mean, when they let the old manager go, it came out that it was because they were concerned they'd had a dip in form. They were worried about the fact they weren't going to meet the plan of getting back up to the Premiership at the first time of asking. I mean, they're sitting in the playoffs at the moment.
I know.
As much as they've come down from the Premiership, I think automatic promotion is down to Norwich, Swansea, Brentford pretty much at this point. They're not going to push for that regardless. So they're in the playoff spots. It seems like a strange decision to let your manager go when you're pretty much on course to be in that conversation to go up anyway. Yeah. And to want to replace him with somebody who's kind of, listen, being a great player doesn't mean you're going to be a great manager.
I know.
I mean, he's bounced around a little bit. He's done absolutely nothing of note. So if you're looking at trying to get out of the Championship, which, like we've said numerous times, it's one of those leagues where literally anything can happen. You need somebody that knows their way around, knows how to get out of there. The Warnocks and the McCarthys of the world. I don't see how that's a good appointment by Bournemouth. I think it's great for Cardiff, because we're 6 points behind at this point, in 7th. But it just seems a really, really odd decision to go.
It really does. It really does. I mean, social media is a funny thing, and the other one as well. Another thing is. Apparently, Bournemouth have approached Montreal to talk to him, but they're waiting for a response. They've been waiting for about 2 days now. So it could well be a hitch there. The other ones in line are Woodgate, David Wagner, a former Huddersfield guy, and Patrick Vieira. And he's another one as well, Patrick Vieira. I mean, it's like he's at Nice at the moment, who's sitting 14th or 11th in a bloody in the French First Division. Which, let's be honest, you take PSG out of the equation, okay, a little bit with Marseille and Monaco, but the majority of those teams would struggle in the Championship, in my opinion. It does cry out, it screams out this PR exercise and something which would go badly wrong for Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, the only real credible name out of that list is David Wagner. I mean, but he's coming off the back of being sacked by Schalke for what was probably the worst run the club has seen in years before he was eventually let go. But he's done it before. He's been in the Championship. He's got out of the Championship with Huddersfield. I mean, Jonathan Woodgate, again, another one who's never really kind of shown much in the way of, becoming a top manager. So, I mean, he's the only one that kind of stands out as a choice. But, I mean, he seems to have just kind of been mentioned, and now it's moved on to Henry, Vieira. Like, they're not going to come cheap. They've never been involved in the league before. And it just seems like a really, really odd decision. I'm not sure what the thought process is behind that. Again, like we talk about with Cardiff City, is that football people making football decisions, or is that businessmen looking at what they can bring in and kind of cream money off the top of? But that seems seems very strange. It's great for us. They're the team just above us, because I don't see that ending well at all.
Yeah, I mean, okay, the team which shall not be named is in third position at the moment. They got a couple of games in hand. Fourth, and I think Watford are in third. And then you got Reading, and then Bournemouth. At this moment in time, when you look at the table, Dan, you think the only one which could be, I think, is Bournemouth. Reading they beat Bristol City the other day, didn't they? So they turned themselves around. But the one to be got at could well be Bournemouth, I think. I mean, how long has it taken this fucking managerial appointment to? How long have they been without a manager now?
I know it seems odd. I mean, when they let Eddie Howe go, I think it was put down as a mutual decision, but that seemed odd in itself. I mean, he took them from the very bottom to the Premier League, where they stayed for however many years they were there before they eventually came back down. I mean, maybe he wanted a new challenge, and he wanted to get out of there. But I mean, I would have kept him on and brought him down to the Championship with me. But I think any club that's in that sort of situation, when their goal is to get promoted back to the Premiership, you would think if you're going to let somebody go, you've got to have somebody else lined up pretty quick. Otherwise, you just headed towards disaster. It's like I said, it's great for us. Long may it continue. If Montreal could keep that email buried for a few more days, leave Mr. Woodgate in charge, that's fine by me. And then brilliant, let Thierry Henry take over. Listen, I mean, you never know. He might come over and he might prove us all wrong, and he might be an absolute tactical genius, and the Championship may be what his managerial style was made for. But I very much doubt it. If you're not having success with the Monacos of the world, then you're probably not going to do the best in the Championship.
I know. I agree. And then next week, then it's Warnock again when we go to Middlesbrough. So this week it's going to be make or break, I think, Dan. I think it's going to be make or break. This time next week we'll have a better idea of where our aspirations are coming end of the season.
Yeah, I think it's been an odd season where we're going to have these runs now of 2-3 games a week that are really going to kind of make or break where we're actually going, and let you know whether this is kind of a false dawn or, I mean, I think there's definitely signs of improvement. I don't think we're in that question of being back in a relegation battle.
No, me neither. I agree with you on that.
But I'm not sure exactly where we sit, whether we're more of a mid-table team that's just having kind of an upturn at the right time at the moment, But it will be the real acid test now. Short space of time, lots of games. Like we said, we've alluded to, there's not a lot of strength in depth, so it's going to be a real test of whether we can actually push on and make a playoff place. Whether we're going to have to just be happy with mid-table and being away from the ship that we were in, over the last few.
If we were to finish outside the playoffs, and my gut feeling is we will just miss out. It does. The focus then should be going back onto the board and saying, look, you messed around for so many weeks before you actually give Harris the boot. Had they done it maybe 2 or 3 weeks before, they should have done it straight after that Wickham game, in my opinion. On the bus coming on, we should have done there and then. I was disgusted at that performance. Some people say even earlier than that, but I think the Wickham game, that's when that broke my back. So if they do miss out, then attention has to go to a board. Why did, if you're supposed to be so good businessmen, why didn't you see that and act quicker? I don't know if you would agree with me on that, Dan. Where do you see him ending up? As it stands at the moment.
I would kind of agree with you. I think I see us sitting around mid-table, missing out on the playoffs. I think, like I've said to you before, you are trying to look at everything long-term. Lots of City fans have this short-term, what's happening in the here and now mentality. I mean, great. If we made the playoffs, fantastic. If we had a run of 3 brilliant games in the playoffs and got promoted, wonderful. But long-term, looking at our squad, looking at the financial situation, if we go up, we're going to come straight back down. We're not going up to stay up. There's no way that's happening. Great, you get your parachute payments. Wonderful.
Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. I mean, long term, the only benefit is going up is that at least it eases the worries of financial worries. It could well be like a Derby year or a Sunderland year, but at least it eases the financial worries. Go on, sorry for jumping in.
As we've shown, though, I mean, that's great. You go up, you come back down, you get your parachute payments. But board-wise and business-wise, we've proven to be absolutely horrific at spending that money. It's just been chucked on ridiculous wages, players that have been absolutely useless and have done nothing for the club. So, I mean, I think mid-table is probably where we will finish. I would probably like us to finish there, stay down, and continue to build on what we've got at the moment, because I think I want to see a long-term plan of let's go up and let's stay up. Let's not keep doing what we're doing and yo-yoing back and forth every 3-4 years. That doesn't make any sense to me. Long-term, we want to be in a Premiership and we want to stay in a Premiership. Right now, we're not ready for that. We're having a great upturn in form, but we're never going to stay there. So I think we're going to stay mid-table, and I think it's probably the best thing for us, to be honest. Without the financial side of it, parachute payments would be great, but as someone alluded to in a comment earlier, I'm not sure where this figure of 3 million a month is coming from.
I know.
So
we're losing 3 million a month. Okay, well, does that include advertising, sponsorship? Sky money? No, but we're still losing 3 million a month.
Yeah,
jeez, it's like a fucking financial accountant writing on the back of a fag packet.
Yeah, I don't think we're in as much trouble as they're making out. I think that's kind of a deflection tactic to keep away from not a lot going on in the transfer market and one thing and another. I mean, they let Robert Glatzel go because he's on too much money and it's all about saving money. But I don't think that rings true, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Do you think, just one last question, only a quick one, just leading on. we've mentioned the lack of the possible lack of strength and depth. Do you think there could be any possibility of any free transfers or any free agents coming in before the end of the season to help us out?
I wouldn't have thought so. No. I mean, I don't know what Glatzel's loan deal is, whether they can recall him if necessary. But I mean, I don't think
he scored last week. Wasn't it last week he said he scored?
Yes, the man that was not good enough for the championship is scoring goals in the Bundesliga now. And he's playing for a team towards the bottom of the Bundesliga as well. So it's not like he's gone to Bayern Munich where you can tap goals in for fun. And he's looked fantastic when he's played so far. I mean, hopefully there's an option there to bring him back if needs be, but I don't think he's going to want to come back, and I don't think they will anyway because they're looking at the financial aspect of it.
Yeah,
I don't see us bringing in free agents. I mean, it's very rare that happens.
So you're telling me Diego Costa is not coming to Cardiff City, no?
I very much.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed.
Not unless he wants to pay to be here, I would have thought.
No worries. Right, we'll leave it like that. Dan, what's your plans today? You're obviously watching the Merseyside derby. Any other plan? Any other?
I'm working. I think working Munich and Frankfurt at 2:30. I think it is.
Okay.
As organised as ever. I haven't actually looked at the sheet, but yeah, I think I'm doing Munich this afternoon. I'll have the City game on as well. A bit like last week.
Yeah, I know. I know. Well, if you want to come in at halftime, give more than welcome. But I don't know if your game would be playing at that time. Where can people find you?
Same place as usual, mate. DJB Football. It's where all the work and everything goes. Be covering Italian game tomorrow as well, so there'll be some fresh articles coming up.
Who's the Italian game?
I'm covering Atlanta and Napoli, I think it is, tomorrow at 6:00. It's the first one I've done in a while with work things. I haven't covered many Serie A games, where I'm back on duty for the next couple of weeks on a Sunday, covering a few games. So there'll be plenty of articles and things coming up from them.
It's on about Atalanta. I watched, because I was there years ago when Murphy beat them in the Cup Winners' Cup '87 in Pendam Park. Because I'm going to every week, at least once a week, I do a video going down memory lane of all the old games. So Murphy Atalanta 1987 Pendam Park will be coming up in the next few days. So. Yeah, is Thingy still playing for them? Because he Cornelius. No,
I don't actually know, to be honest.
Because he was there a year or two ago, wasn't he?
I don't think it. See, so the guy who is the editor of Forza Italian Football just happens to be an absolutely mental Atalanta fan. So he lives in Parma. Where he covers the majority of their games, goes by train down to watch them. So it's very rare I ever actually get to do one of their games, which is a shame because they are like the most entertaining football team. They're a bit like Leeds. They're either going to win 6-0 or they're going to lose 6-0. Nobody knows what's going to happen, but it's always great value for money. I don't think he is there anymore. And if he is, he's certainly not playing from the games we do get to see of him. But they're by far the most entertaining Italian team to watch.
He wasn't good enough for Cardiff in the Championship, but he was good enough for Atalanta in Serie A.
It's similar story.
I know. Okay, no worries at all. Well, up the City, fingers crossed for 3 points today, Dan, and we'll talk soon, yeah?
Yeah, no worries, mate.
You take care. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Much appreciated. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. Watch along later on. Let's get the 3 points, bring it home, and then roll on to the game on Bournemouth in a week. Okay, thanks, guys. Bye-bye.